And so there's more drama as we get ourselves ready for the X30 Masters, the final qualifying heat for them, as the 439 pirouettes around in the first turn. That is drama already for Marc Lerive. Looks like he's got going again, but we certainly don't need any more drama than we've already got. Here is the grid for the X30 Master and Gentlemen, third and final qualifying heat. François-Xavier Venet on the front row of the grid alongside Geoffrey Rouchy, then Alexis Castellon and Tommy Nordvang. Then it is meant to be Giacomo Napolitano, but he is not there. Francois Vautier in sixth position on the grid. Then Bjorn Verham, Louis Pret, Ludovic François and Vincent Jean-Baptiste. Then we have Eric Chapon and Mathieu Bourdon, Jérôme Rousseau and Romain Monge, Sylvain Lam and Christian Perrin, Frank Aymar and François Coulet from Anthony Havet and Marc Larive, Christophe Auger and Philippe Tutin, Olympios Mavromichailakis and Didier Barthes, and then Ludovic Tardivaux should be at the back of the grid, but is not. So time for the third and final qualifying heat for the X30 Masters over the age of 30 and X30 Masters Gentlemen over the age of 40. So we'll bring them out of the final turn. Masters v Gentlemen, it's time to race for the last time before the super heats. Off we go at Le Mans. A great start from Rouchy, trying to get level with the man on pole, François-Xavier Venet, as they go through turn one. It's going to be a tricky one. FX Venet holding the lead there, as up to the inside comes Alexis Castellon. He gets through, and it's going to be Tommy Nordvang trying to cut across and into third position. An absolute barnstorming start from the Masters and Gentlemen as they work their way through. So far, so good for FX Venet, holding on in front of Alexis Castellon, and Nordvang gets a little bit of a love tap through the turn there from one of the carts behind. I think that was Francois Vautier in the Lando Norris chassis. So already a very tricky start to proceedings as everybody tries to share the same bit of racetrack, but it wasn't without incident there as everybody now tries to continue the charge forward, but it's looking very good indeed for FX Venet. François-Xavier Venet looking good on the far side of the turn. He looks pretty comfortable there in the lead in front of Alexis Castellon, and I think that's Francois Vautier in the Castellet kart racing machine in the 433. It's not, it's Louis Pret. It's Louis Pret, the Monegasque, who finds himself in third position. It wasn't 2 weeks ago that he was racing in the Shanghai 8-hour sports car race in fantastic fashion, battling away for the Frankenstein Mercedes racing team that he shared on that particular occasion with the sensational Chinese actor Zhou Yiran and Shi Ke, who is the up-and-coming China Endurance Championship GT4 race winner. So a fantastic change around then for Louis Pret, who now finds himself closing in on the leading duo up front in this one. François-Xavier Venet and Alexis Castellon in front of the Monegasque Louis Pret as they go down the back straight. Nordvang still finds himself in fourth place in front of Rouchy, who is down to P5. Look at how much curve the drivers are taking as they try to find themselves in a bit of space here. Nordvang, Rouchy, Verham in sixth position ahead of Vautier. Then Chapon, the leading gentleman, is once again Ludovic François, as down to the inside line. Is that going to be a move from Alexis Castellon? Not quite, it isn't, because Castellon still not able to get close enough yet to slice up the inside of François-Xavier Venet. So Venet still holds his position for the time being. Still a bit of work to do. Still a lot of opportunities to let things slip. But at the moment, Castellon has got bigger things to worry about than the man up front of him, because he's got the chasing Louis Pret, the Monegasque, in third position, trying to work his way forward into the lead of the race. So Venet, Castellon, Pret, and then a little bit of a gap to Nordvang, Rouchy, Verham, Chapon, Vautier, Jean-Baptiste, Monge, François and Jérôme Rousseau. So Jérôme Rousseau looking good in the gentleman category now to make a little bit of a step up to go for his first win. So far it's been one-way traffic for Ludovic François in the gentleman category. He took both of the heats, one yesterday, one this morning. But now it's time for the big dive up the inside from Alexis Castellon. Castellon finds the move on the inside and takes the lead away from FX Venet. So François-Xavier Venet now really under pressure to try and get this back again. And FX Venet will do everything he can to move his way further forward, but he's going to have a big pressure cooker from Louis Pret, who dives in, and Louis Pret comes into second position now. From sports cars in Shanghai to karting at Le Mans, Louis Pret is always towards the sharp end, no matter what machinery you give him.
Quel que soit le volant qu'il a entre les mains, eh bien Louis Pret nous fait des étincelles là-bas en sortie du virage numéro 11 du banking. Superbe dépassement de la part de Louis Pret sur Alexis Castellon pour la deuxième place. La bataille, elle est lancée avec 6 minutes 30 et un tour jusqu'au drapeau à damier. Mais FX Venet est bien déjà victorieux à à une reprise depuis l'entame de ce week-end. Geoffrey Rouchy qui s'est adjugé la victoire dans la deuxième manche disputée plus tôt aujourd'hui dans la matinée. C'est donc la troisième et dernière confrontation avant la super manche pour les catégories Master Gentleman. Après celle-ci, il n'y aura plus de chance alors que ça tente en tout cas de passer à la corde pour FX Venet avec Alexis Castellon qui a pris l'avantage devant Louis Prette. FX Venet qui tente de contre-attaquer mais qui en faisant ça perd pied, j'en ai bien peur avec Tommy Norvang qui donne du fil à retordre au pilote français juste derrière pour la troisième place. Est-ce qu'elle a changé de main? Oui, avec Norvang en troisième position, FX Venet juste derrière 4. Geoffroy Rouchy justement, une victoire de manche juste derrière et qui revient avec son châssis CRG du Team OKS, cinquième position devant Björn Verham. Tout cela est encore très très serré et la première place qui change à nouveau de main. Louis Prette en tête sous les couleurs du Team Castellet Car Racing. Le voilà qui mène les débats avec un peu plus de 5 minutes et un tour jusqu'au drapeau à damier. Mais la contre-attaque, la réponse d'Alexis Castellon, elle devrait nous venir juste au virage numéro 1, pourquoi pas. FX Venet en pleine explication derrière avec Geoffroy Rouchy et Björn Verham également, juste au 5e et 6e rang. Oh là là, ça peut vraiment basculer de tous côtés entre les protagonistes de la catégorie Master Gentleman. Avec bien sûr nos représentants donc au-delà de la quarantaine d'années dans l'année. Un peu plus loin dans cette hiérarchie, mais pour l'instant le premier des gentlemen, on peut le mentionner, c'est Ludovic François, vainqueur l'année passée, pour l'instant 12e, juste devant son plus proche poursuivant Mathieu Bourdon. Mathieu Bourdon qui bien, va lui donner du fil à retordre jusqu'au terme de cette finale. Je me crois déjà en finale, ce sera pour demain les super manches ce soir, mais pour l'instant encore quelques manches qualificatives à disputer. Mais quoi qu'il en soit, on est loin d'avoir tout vu avec Louis Prette qui met quelques mètres de distance entre lui et Alexis Castellon. Un petit répit, un petit moment de répit, mais pour combien de temps va-t-il durer, c'est la question, puisque Castellon revient de plus belle dans ses échappements, mais ne parvient pas à vraiment trouver cette porte pour faire son dépassement.
Don't worry, Guillaume, it's easy to make an error when we've got so much to look at in one fell swoop, as Geoffrey Rouchy has done an amazing job on that last lap to work his way from 5th position up to 3rd. Now he's going to put pressure on Alexis Castellon, but don't forget that François-Xavier Vernet is not out of this at all. 4th position, tucks up behind. There's a tiny bit of a gap that's opened up now between Louis Prette and Alexis Castellon. This is going to feel very different to the Mercedes AMG GT3 he piloted at the Shanghai 8 Hours a few weeks ago. But what a drive from Louis Prette, as now he tries to fend off from the charging pack behind him. It was a lot easier when he got to share a car with Chiquet and Joe Yeran, but now he's having to really wrestle as we come off the turn and down the straight again as we've got François-Xavier Vernet struggling off the turn. Tommy Nordvang has lost concertina effect there as well, and that's given Björn Verham the chance to move forward into 4th position. His mechanic on the sidelines, Kevin Lemons, is going to be delighted, but not for long. Nordvang fights his way through and they both drift wide. Nordvang is able to hold on to 5th position. Verham has ended up dropping back into what is now 7th position as a result of that. He's got to try and bounce back here, but he'll have some pressure from Francois Vautier in the second of the Castellet kart racing team machines up at the sharp end of the field. The leading one, of course, is the Monegasque Louis Prette, and there's contact further back again, and there's more problems as there's a bit of a hold up there on the back straight, and it's a big problem for the number 411. That's Eric Chapon.
Right.
So the reigning champion, Eric Chapon, is the one that gets spat out of the queue, and there's a warning flag to Louis Prette. Louis Prette, the race leader, has been given a warning flag, and that comes with a 5-second time penalty that cannot be contested or appealed.
Et malheureusement, la décision qui vient de tomber officiellement. Drapeau d'avertissement et 5 secondes de pénalité pour votre leader, Louis Prette, le 433. C'est certainement la pire des nouvelles qui pouvait lui tomber dessus. Louis Prette à la recherche de sa première victoire de manche depuis le début du week-end. Victoire qui sont allées à FX Venet et à Geoffrey Rouchy pour l'instant, respectivement en 2e et 5e place. Mais ça veut dire, et c'est important, que si c'est bel et bien confirmé après la course, Geoffrey Rouchy hériterait sur tapis vert d'une 2e victoire de manche qui le propulserait en tête de la hiérarchie avec une vue plus que belle sur la pole position. Oh, attention, ça coupe la chicane là-bas. De qui était-ce, Tommy Norvang ou FX Venet qui est allé là-bas couper la chicane? Je pense que c'est non. FX Venet est toujours là avec nous, mais des positions de perdu pour effectivement Norvang. Tommy Norvang qui se retrouve en 7e place après malheureusement n'avoir eu d'autre choix que de couper la chicane au passage de la sortie de courbe. On se demande ce qui s'est passé, mais sans doute a-t-il été un petit peu étranglé là-bas en voulant tenter un dépassement. Mais il en a payé le prix fort. J'en ai bien peur puisqu'il se retrouve 7e et en dehors de toute contention possible pour les gros points dans cette manche.
This has deteriorated somewhat, hasn't it? We've now got the leader with a 5-second penalty and drivers spat out to the sidelines each and every apex very nearly on that previous lap. I mean, this has become less of a motor race and more a boxing match with a steering wheel. Very tricky stuff for the contenders over the sharp end. Louis Pret now needs to extend his lead to at least 5.001 seconds so that when that penalty kicks in, he will still have the lead. And considering that even Gabriel Stilp wasn't able to pull out 5 seconds when he dominated that race earlier on at a canter, it's going to be almost impossible for Louis Pret to extend by 5 seconds at this stage, especially when you've got the likes of Geoffrey Rochy and Alexis Castellon right on the tail. Francois-Xavier Venet is not too far away, but what about Bjorn Verhaam? He's already been used as a little bit of a pinball machine at various points over the week, so he has a chance to work his way further forward here from 5th position. He can really make a gain. If he can stick close to FX Venet, he might get a shot. But Louis Pret may or may not be aware of the fact that he's got that warning flag. It depends on whether he was looking at the gantry as he came through and over the line. So this could be a really dramatic end to an absolute thrilling race. But Louis Pret, Geoffrey Rochy and Alexis Castellon are going to come out of the final turn here, and they will charge to the first turn with 1 lap remaining.
Et nous sommes partis dans le dernier tour. Final lap, ladies and gentlemen. Le dernier tour, la dernière opportunité éventuellement de changer l'ordre de tête de course ici avec Louis Pret sous investigation avec cette pénalité de 5 secondes qui lui pèse au-dessus du casque malheureusement. Ce qui va faire les affaires de Geoffrey Rochy, mais il faut encore conserver la tête des hostilités, conserver la tête de cette course, cette deuxième place évidemment, mais qui serait donc une victoire virtuelle si les choses en restent ainsi. Mais Alexis Castellon et FX Venet ont évidemment d'autres intentions. Et que s'est-il passé avec Eric Chapon? Nous sommes dans le dernier tour et Eric Chapon, vainqueur 2024 de la Iame Eurocup, est malheureusement en bord de piste. Aïe, 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 que s'est-il passé de l'autre côté du tracé, semble-t-il? Incident pour Eric Chapon, on reviendra là-dessus. Mais quoi qu'il en soit, voilà qui pousse son week-end dans une situation plus qu'inconfortable. Le drapeau damier, Louis Pret est le premier à le franchir. Une pénalité malheureusement qui devrait lui être infligée de 5 secondes, ce qui fait qu'il va perdre ce succès sur tapis vert si c'est confirmé. Ce qui ferait donc de Geoffrey Rochy notre vainqueur sur tapis vert. Deuxième succès qui reste bien sûr à confirmer. Alexis Castellon en 3e position devant FX Venet 4 et Bjorn Verhaam en 5e place.
Wow, very tricky stuff indeed then from Eric Chapon, retiring from the race with a couple of laps remaining, and Louis Pret crossing the line in first position, but of course he got the warning flag, so that will drop him back 5 seconds, and that will put him all the way back to 8th position when this is all sorted itself out. So for the moment, Louis Pret is the winner, but that 5-second penalty will be applied. And so Geoffrey Rochy, Alexis Castellon, Francois-Xavier Venet, Bjorn Verhaam, Francois Vautier and Tommy Nordvang will all move ahead of him, as too will Vincent Jean-Baptiste. Then Mathieu Berdon, Romain Monge, Sylvain Lhomme and Ludovic François from François Coulet and Jérôme Rousseau. Then Anthony Havet and Frank Aymar from Marc Larive and Christian Perrine. And then it will be Christophe Auger and Philippe Dutin from Olympios Mavromikolakis, and then Didier Barthes. The retirement was a big one in this one. Eric Chapon, the reigning champion, out of the race, and that will definitely hamper his chances of retaining the crown. Neither Giacomo Napolitano or Ludovic Tadiveau got to start the race, but then that was the case in Heat 1 and Heat 2. So with the reigning champion Eric Chapon out of the race on the sidelines, and Louis Pret taking the victory on the road, only to get a warning flag mid-race and the 5-second penalty that comes with it. It all means that it'll be Geoffrey Rochy in the OKS CRG that will be the eventual victor in this one. And it's drama all the way then in the X30 Master and Gentlemen. What an amazing display.